What's up, everyone? It is I, Adam Prime. I'm doing it more royally for obvious reasons. Cause I'm that Ringle. Yeah, do we got trumpets?
I don't got trumpet.
We don't got trumpets, but we do have a new episode of the TokuBrew Podcast. This week in Toku. This week in Toku.
And this week in Toku, we gonna talk about them royal bugs, and I'll tell you what.
You know who's with me as always is my rootinest tootinest. I'm sorry. I'm keeping this in, by the way. My lovely co-host and fiance.
Toku Roundup. Hi, I'm Storm. Hi, y'all, I'm Storm.
I'm Larry the Cable Guy.
And I got the quickest wit in the world.
Do you? Okay, wait. By the way,
we need to stop.
We need to stop. But I wanna ask the audience and you this question. But is it weird that there have now been 2 sequels to movies that like starred like muscle like bound people, but Larry the Cable Guy replaced them in the sequel? Because you remember the Tooth Fairy with The Rock?
Yeah, I remember.
There's a sequel with Larry the Cable Guy.
I know that one. What other movie are you talking about?
Jingle All the Way 2 is Larry the Cable Guy
Yeah.
instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Is that weird? Like, that's what he did?
He found himself a niche, I guess.
He's just like, I guess I'll do a Jingle All the Way too. Fuck it.
Didn't know I could get typecast as that we couldn't get the other guy for the second one.
Yeah, so we got this redneck guy instead. Also, thank God I don't monetize these, because,
You don't even have the option yet, don't
yeah,
you?
I know, I don't have the option, but also,
I think it's like
I
you have
would
to have
not
a certain
be.
amount of hours
Well, yeah.
posted or something like that.
Well, that
right?
you need a bunch. Like, there's so many hoops. We'll get into that later.
Don't even want to bother.
Don't even want to talk about it. But yeah, so yeah, this week in Toku, we mourn the loss of Donbrothers. This is the first episode without Donbrothers on it.
Yeah.
This one, episode 49, I want to say this one is?
Yeah, I think so. Because I think the Donbrothers last one was 48, right?
I think so.
But we do have King-Ohger.
Yes, and we are opening up because, you know, even though I think now superhero time goes, like, Kamen Rider Sentai, I might be wrong, because I know it switched at some point. I can't remember how the actual order in superhero time goes, which, by the way, we have a superhero time screenshot. Ain't that great? We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, we got King-Ohger.
Still no Ultraman, by the way. Still no Ultraman yet.
Yeah.
When is that? That's
He'll
like
show-
this summer, right?
Yeah, he'll start off probably in, like, June, July, somewhere around there.
Okay.
So, yeah, we got King-Ohger. We open up on an epic, like, we get to see King-Ohger right away. Like, the King-Ohger's the mecha, and, like, they see him as a guardian spirit. Like, that's something they tell us right away.
I think at least semi-sentient.
Yeah, exactly. But, also, I like how it's, like, who knows how fucking long ago, like, 2,000 years ago, with fucking...
I think it was like, oh, he'll rise again in 400 years or something.
Oh,
like that.
Well, no, they said 2,000 years.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because it was like, oh, the Bugniarch are gonna come back in 2,000 years, with fucking Sauron and all of them. Also, this was a weirdly convenient time to watch Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I had never seen Lord of the Rings till then.
We just finished the Two Towers, and we're probably gonna start Return of the King soon.
Yeah, but that's not.
I
what
couldn't convince him to watch the extended editions. He wouldn't. Let me.
You can't rat me out like that on the internet.
He says he's willing to watch them later, though.
I will watch them.
But yeah, like, it was really cool because, like, you're not a very high fantasy kind of guy.
I like high fantasy. It's like I like it.
But I know you like it, but I'm just saying, you don't watch a whole lot of it.
Sci-fi is my bread and butter.
I like grew up on a bunch of high fantasy stuff.
Labyrinth and
I guess Labyrinth would be pretty high fantasy.
what's the one with Devil Tim Curry on it? The Prophecy? Is that what it's called?
Devil Tim Curry.
The Legend.
Legend, yeah.
Oh, it's just called Legend.
Oh my god, that's one of my favorite
We'll
roles.
talk about that later.
That man did some roles in my life that I genuinely
But yeah, no, we get
That was... I need to show you that movie. It's also very good.
Yeah.
It's very weird, but also very good, and Jim Carrey steals the fucking show.
I mean Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. I mix up those actors so much.
It's just their names rhyme.
It's because of the name specifically. I always like have a visualization of like their face in my head, but I always say the wrong name.
The Riddler. But yeah, no.
Can you imagine Tim Curry as the Riddler?
Now?
No.
I'm like, I'm sorry.
No, I mean like in his prime. If he
yeah.
gotten the role back then.
Yeah, I could see it. I think he could have probably played it really good.
Played the Grinch.
That would be a very different movie. But back to King-Ohger. But yeah, no. So we were
a lot of high fantasy stuff.
Well, yeah, no, but like that's seriously one of those things I really do like. It opens up. It literally opens up, just literally like for a long time ago, and it's like telling you this legend, which it's Gyra, the main guy.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Cool name though. I'll give it that. Like,
well, it's a reference to a beetle, a stag beetle for purposes.
And like.
And, like, we get to see a different version of King-Ohger. Like, this is not the one we see mainly in the show, which apparently has been labeled Legend King-Ohger.
Oh, yeah, it is different.
Well, yeah, because he has new boobs. He has boobs.
He also has a giant cannon arm, right?
Well,
is
yeah,
that what that is?
yeah.
It's a Megatron arm. That's what that is.
Yeah. So yeah, and then
and
you find out
the knights.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, but for King-Ohger picks 5 kings for the true King of Kings. And we get to see all of these kingdoms
and a whole new planet, because like the thing that I think is really cool about this is they completely just ditched everything. They're not in the same time. They are not in the same on the same planet. They are not in the same universe. They are in just their own thing.
There are 5 different kingdoms, which is Sugadam.
I thought it was Terra.
Well, no, that's the planet.
Terra? Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, that's the
you're
planet.
Talking about
the kingdoms.
The Red Kingdoms?
Yeah, well, yeah, the Red Kingdom, and then we have the other ones, but we'll get to them in a second. But I think that's a really interesting is I was actually expecting, and we're gonna get into like the little city we get to see right away anyway, of one of them to just look like Japan. You know what I mean? Where it's like the one that they're gonna be in regularly, like the main city. I was expecting to just look like Japan.
No,
but it's like
that old not Victorian, but like old UK look, like a very like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You know what I mean? Like with like the red,
it's like industrial.
You know, with like the red roofs.
Well, yeah, no, like that's what I'm saying. It feels very industrial, at least
cool.
in Soga.
And by the way, something I wasn't expecting was how steampunk everything was, because it's like that medieval mixed with steampunk and technology, and I am all in. I'm for it.
Yeah, no,
I'm so ready to just blabber on about so much of this show
already. But like no, and we also get to see like all the other god bugs that they have.
Yeah, they're just like floating around.
They're just like there's like a pill bug that's a taxi. You got like green ants, which they will probably try to sell us. We got like it's so cool. Like these are just regular ass.
It's just such a world. Like,
it feels
this is like their own world, and it feels lived in. And
well, exactly. Where it's like they are trying something. Where it's like, don't get me wrong, I love Donbrothers. Where it's like, and like that's what I'm saying. Like Donbrothers is a level beyond, and that's not what I was expecting. But this doesn't even. But like, no, it's like it's one of those things where it never even made me think about it because it's doing its own thing and it's being its own story.
I feel like it's also establishing just enough to where we're like, what? What's going on? Where are we? Who is this?
Yeah, it's like
I never had a moment like that. I was just like, like I was following the whole time.
Yeah, it's like
I was never confused.
Yeah, it's like and you're hooked.
Oh yeah, I was like.
And then like we start going through the kingdoms after we go through like Sogada, because they're celebrating because the kings of the other four nations are going to be coming and gathering for the first time ever.
Oh, I think the first time since
in a long time. Yeah. So because by the way, the god stag beetle is just humping a log in the middle of the square.
I think it's a pipe, but it's just like
mid-nut. He's napping.
Yeah, and there's this huge festival going on, and oh my god, guys, there's a lot of CG in this, surprisingly.
And it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not seamless. I'm like,
oh yeah,
CG.
For sure. I'm just surprised it's how, because I feel like Donbrothers ate up a lot of budget. You know what I mean? And I feel, and one of the things that I kind of discussed with you watching this the first or second time, I don't remember, was it's like some of the things that like they made sure like what mattered looked really good.
Well, yeah.
Like certain the armor, some of the costumes, like the mecha, they made sure that those looked good. Like they had to put money into that. And then like little things you notice are a little bit cheaper. They'll probably point them out as they go, but like it gives off like an interesting vibe. Like one thing that I'm gonna ramble if you don't stop me. Do you want to keep going? Or
no, I just wanted to go to I don't have it here. I oddly did not get the name for the kingdom for Yellow's kingdom, and it bothered me, and I was just letting you ramble to.
Okay, well, one of the things that like kind of like it felt almost like a crowdfunded fan project. Like my brain kept being like, "This is too good to be true. This is like a one-off episode that like a bunch of fans came together to like make real."
Ishabanya?
Like and like it's too good to be true, and the fact that like it's like there's another episode next week and then another one, like I'm in disbelief at this moment. You know what I mean? Just like
yeah. But yeah, no.
Donbrothers isn't over, and this was a fan project in my head, where it's like, yes, I wish I had more of this, but it's an actual show. Like, I'm going to be getting more.
Yeah. So then we go to Yellow's Kingdom, which is Ishiran. It's over on this other screen.
Ishibana?
Yeah, but like, and it's the Mantis Kingdom, and it's like, it's funny because you have.
She's an interesting character, by the way.
Well, yeah, she fucking looks like Belle from Beauty and the Beast, but with blonde hair. Like she's committed to the color yellow, but like she has all like her kingdom's all like floral and garden themed. It seems
she has a lot of bugs there.
Yeah,
like she has a lot of the bugs.
Well, she has the Kamakiri just vibing behind her.
Mm-hmm. And she has like the personality you would typically see as like a bully character or even like a villain character, but she's really not. Like she's very much like the self-centered.
Yeah, they're like, hey, you're gonna be late. And she's.
I'm doing my makeup. Is there anything more important than what I ask for? You know, just like she like very much. Even though she's a queen, it's like very much like princess behavior. But like we see her like step up to the plate and fight. Like she acts as the queen and does her duties and everything. But like. She's also one of the main heroes.
So yeah,
it's not a personality you see in that very often.
So yeah, I feel like we'll eventually either see her like shed that or like they'll like adapt.
I almost kind of hope she doesn't. Like it just kind of reeks of like confidence. You know what I mean? Like maybe like it'll be like a less self-centered and more of just like a confidence thing. But like I kind of hope she keeps her attitude. It's really interesting.
But then we go to Tofu. Wait, is that actually what that says?
That's what I pointed out when we watched it. I was like, is that just named Tofu? Like,
wow, okay.
You didn't notice?
No, yeah, and it's just like this is like the farming one with B-Man.
Yeah, this is B. This is Black. He's very out there, very cool.
He's wearing like a sick ass kimono and a gold chain. He has a big gold chain
and a dollar store wig. But
yeah,
I'm sorry, I don't mean that.
But like they want They just want peace to continue.
Yeah, and like they seem really cool. They seem like a really tight knit community, and he seems like he's the kind of king that like gets his hands dirty because they say like, oh, he helped out a lot, and we used a lot of your advice, and they had like this huge like crop bring in.
It feels like Sarahara, but like with a little less full of himself.
It's like if Sarahara and Taro had a child.
Maybe, I don't know. We'll discuss this.
We're still talking about Donbrothers. And very much a tone shift. Did you not get this one either?
I don't think I got this one either. God damn it.
But,
we go to purples. We go to purples or palpions, if that's what you want to call it. Butterfly. Like we got a bunch. You know.
We'll learn names and stuff later.
Which she's just out in the snow, because that's her thing. Is snow.
They're like in the mountains in the cold. I actually really dig the aesthetic.
Gokok?
What did you say?
I think it's
what it actually says?
I think it says like Gokon.
Even the fire in the background looks cold.
Okay, wait. Here we go. Sorry.
They like carry it on their back like that.
Yeah, like she has this big fucking. I forgot her name is Rita. But yeah, no.
But I really dig the aesthetics of this place.
Oh yeah, of her ice castle.
And like. They're
her
kind
mask.
of like they're kind of edgy.
Yeah, it's
Gokon,
not Gokok, like I said earlier. and it's the Zombon Castle.
It sounds like one you can name your Pokemon anything in, like,
Oh,
the
I
early
never
gen.
realized. Do you like that her
Go cock! Like
because like Palpion's is like the serious and like following is the rules by the one. Do you like that hers is a scale to probably represent her?
justice.
Yeah, exactly.
Balance,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like, so it's like that's her.
I made a Pokemon joke for you. I'm offended.
I'm sorry. What was it?
Oh my god.
Sorry, there was a lot going on.
I said it's like in the early gens of Pokemon when you could really name them whatever you want. It's just like, go, cock! I choose
And
you.
or name yourself that.
Exactly.
It's you just name
Yeah,
yourself
I didn't
might.
want to say her scales.
But yeah, no, that's pretty cool. And the butterfly's just hanging out on top,
Mhm.
and then she just leaves.
Yeah, we made jokes of like the butterfly when it finally gets there. It's just super cold.
Yeah, and it's just getting mad at everyone. Why did I get the fucking Ice Kingdom?
Yeah, it's just like I even joked I get to like buy a fire and they put like a big blanket over it. It has its feet in like some warm water. It's
In
just
the
like,
little
fuck,
bug.
fuck. It's just like super
God
cold.
damn it. But yeah, no.
Ah, it's so cold.
By the way, a lot of people are liking Palpion, just I feel like simply because of the design.
Aesthetics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
I
all four.
Honestly, I dig all of them because their aesthetics are just so different.
Well, yeah.
But they're all good. Like I like all of them in different ways.
Yeah, and then we go to Nosketopia? Nosaopia? It's a weird word. It's on the
Fucking
screen.
pull it up so I can see it. Jeez.
It's like Techno City.
yeah, this is the Dragonfly.
Like,
it's
yeah,
blue.
yeah.
And
And yeah, like this is the most advanced of obviously the cities. Like it's like if Sogadam, like the main one that we're in.
Nkasopa?
Nikasopa, maybe.
No, not Nika. It's just an N and an apostrophe, so it's Nkasopa, I believe.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. I'll probably have to hear someone hear it a billion times in order to hear it.
So we will get these down in
Insane.
time. But yeah, no. So we go into the.
Yeah, sorry about any pronunciations and stuff like that. But he's a tech guy. And
But yeah,
they
tech man with his headphones. He don't need no friends.
Mhm.
But his friend's like, I don't want you to fucking punch somebody while you're there. And he's like, fucking good point.
Yeah.
And then eats him.
It's funny. He's like you can tell his mech's really fast because he's like one of the last to leave, but he's still the first to arrive.
Butterfly's just like, fucking, I'll be there in like 3 days.
Yeah. And one thing that like I wasn't expecting is everyone did come with a companion,
Yeah.
which is
Well-
kind of interesting.
Well, it's like them and like their
Yeah, they
Royal
all
Grand
land-
Viziers, or
or just,
butlers.
or just their friends.
Yeah.
Dare I say? Fuck. It's funny, like with Tofu Man.
Yeah, he's
B. I was just like, oh, why is he alone? And I saw the little nightmare creature behind him. I'm like, oh,
There's nothing. I can't remember
Is
what
that-
they're called. They have a
is that
name.
your friend?
I can't
Is
remember
that
what.
executioner? Just put a little happy face on him, makes him less intimidating. Makes
No,
him more nightmare.
I know you haven't watched it, but I don't remember their name. But they even had them in Shinkenger, and they even have them in Hurricaneger. They're like they have a certain name to what they are, and
Demons.
they're not demons.
It reminds me, weirdly enough, of like the Game Grumps Power Hour, where they had like that '90s toy that like took pictures, of
Oh.
like their silhouettes or whatever, and then they put the demon mask on it, and he drew a fucking happy face on it.
Oh,
That's what that looks like to me,
Yeah,
or it reminds me of, I guess.
but yeah, no. So they arrive in the city, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, Nintendo 64!"
Thank you, Santa.
Like, and you see obviously that I love that Yellow's
Butler is
just carrying
shit.
her sword, and like it's like on a high-end platform. Like it's not on a pillow. I'm surprised it wasn't on a pillow, but like it's on like a slab of wood, like, and that's
Do you
holding
think
it up.
you think he's like arms getting tired? Also, I have to point out one thing about the screenshot. It makes me laugh because you got a piece of confetti when it was like right over his nose, and I didn't notice it at first. And I was just like, dude, why is your nose purple?
Yeah, and then we see Cogsworth and other man, like
Lumiere.
y-
He
Yeah.
does look like a Cogsworth, though. I will give you that.
yeah,
That is very much
the
a Cogsworth.
the king's like royal people. I don't remember if we got names. If
I don't
we
know if
did,
it
I don't
matters.
remember them.
I don't know if it'll even matter. But
It
anyway.
might.
So, and we get to see the boy finally.
Yeah, the one telling us this tale. It's Gyra, and he's talking about how he's fucking hanging out with these children.
They're all
Playing
orphans.
Yeah, they're playing King-Ohger. They're orphans.
And by the way, we like kind of like vaguely follow this like girl.
Yeah,
Like I'd say like 12-ish. They're maybe 13.
I don't know. It's a younger girl.
A younger girl, like a young lady, and he's like hanging around her. I imagine they're probably just really.
Well, yeah, we
close
saw
or
her
something.
earlier at the opening, and but like
we see her again with him, and they're playing with like the littler kids, and they're like
yeah,
teenagers.
and then the debt collector comes in,
and he's the evil guy who's gonna conquer the world.
and then the kids are the King-Ohgers.
And
then like the guy comes to get the rent. He's just like, "Hey, you guys haven't paid your taxes," and they're just like, "We're not trying to evade the IRS. We're not Wesley Snipes, or Yoshi, but like." Oh my god. Though, yeah, he starts getting mad about him, and he starts helping him out, and then the kids just start chucking rocks at him.
Yeah.
And they're just like, "Oh no!" And like the guy who's going for the taxes, and
they're just like, "Oh, it's okay. I imagine there's just a mess up. The king isn't a bad guy."
Foreshadowing.
And then it's just like, he actually reminisces on something, and I really liked it. I couldn't remember what it was from. It was actually you that had to point it out. He actually like kind of says something that Oz said.
Yeah, and it's like, cause he's saying he's like I can only focus on, or he says something along the lines of like, cause it's like a whole spiel.
Like focus on the people that you can reach. You know, when it comes to doing good.
Yeah, being able to, yeah, you know, and that's something very similar to Oz and like how he says, cause like
I feel like he said something very almost identical to that at some point.
Which I made a comment and you immediately thought about it.
And then, like, I got, like, weirdly excited because I realized there was also, like, red in his hair, and I was like, oh my god, he's their son. He is their son.
Oh, but yeah,
then, edgy.
And then we go to the king's room. We go to the castle.
Yeah, and all the people are there meeting, and
we get to meet, Reculus, the king himself.
And this is kind of actually where, like, I can point out some of the things I'm talking about, where, like, the painted top of the roof, you know, it's like this supposed to be like this cracked rock and it's painted, but
yeah, like the tapestries pretty much.
I think they might have like used styrofoam to do that, which is really clever. And even like we got a close-up of his like crown, weirdly enough,
so cheap,
and it looks like cardboard.
But like I want to talk about this mural, by the way.
But like it doesn't bother me because it almost feels like friends LARPing, and they're taking it 1,000% seriously, no matter what their costumes look like. You know what I mean? It gives off those good vibes.
But like this,
like it's cheap in a good way.
Like this fucking crown, just like it's filled with like rhinestones.
But do you see what I mean? Of just like, yeah, it's cheap.
It's being honest.
But like they're taking it so serious, and they're honest, and they made sure that the things that mattered looked really good, like the king's cape and like their
outfits.
Iconic outfits, the mecha. We actually think that the mecha are like physical things. Like we think that because we know that it's a puppet. So I wonder if like they just
we see the puppet of Kuwagata.
I wonder if they like pose the puppet and then CGI'd around it to give it like the rust.
I think they might have made a a miniature.
It looks like it's physically there, but also a little bit.
But it is somewhat green screened.
I can tell that they used a lot of layering in this because obviously there's a big robot. They have like miniatures of this city, which looks so interesting because it's not just a city.
Also,
that we see all
we'll
the time.
get to Attack on Titan vibes later.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna save that for when we were actually gonna talk about it, but
I'm sorry, we were talking about the city because I'm just saying because there was a wall.
I can tell that like they like layered things. Like there's like the people going on in like the foreground, and I think they might have used some of those models to like get like the mid ground of like, you know, the city and stuff going on, taken pictures and adjusted the big things and like put them in so it looks like it's physically there, and then like the far background is CGI. It's really clever, I think, how they did it. It looks really good.
Yeah, and again, I do like that we just
probably saved a lot of money.
We just get a really good shot of
the prophecy.
No, it's like it's something to definitely do about King-Ohger, and it's like the 13 combo because there's supposed to be another combo with King-Ohger, obviously because we don't have Legend King-Ohger right now, and we only have 10 instead of 13. But it's like it's showing you there right away. And it's just very interesting, and it's like showing you some of the other like gods where it's like it's not just Kuwagata and all of them. But like and it's pretty much Reculus is just saying like, hey, we need to bring back King-Ohger because they know the Bugnark are supposed to be coming back because they're like, 2,000 years is coming up, we're getting it spent, and he's just like, oh, we need to
establish a leader because.
Well, no, he's like, oh, we need to revive King-Ohger. And he's like, and we can't do that without God Kuwagata, who's still in his rusted state, might I add.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, like, he's just like,
because this mecha actually functions a little differently than what
my
we've
brain
seen.
just had a weird skipping thing. Sorry for a second, by the way. Sorry, my brain just went to a huge fart, and it just like was like a skipping record.
Okay.
But yeah, Blue's like the one who immediately questioned.
No, this mecha does function a little bit differently because, like, they're not in their mechs. It's actually only controlled by Red, the main
as
one.
far as we're being seen.
Yeah, it could change later.
Yeah, we've seen the cockpit, and there's only one set of controls.
But as far as we know, it's just like, oh, it's basically controlled by one person, and they were trying to establish, okay, he's like, Red King is just like, okay,
Reculus,
it's gonna be me. Reculus, but I'm sorry. He's like, all right, it's gonna be me, and everyone's like, okay. And then Blue is actually just like, no, I don't agree with this.
He's like, you're using a prophecy to monopolize on power. Like, it's just like, and it's true. It's like he technically is. He's like, oh,
Well, we see that later, but we'll go into more. We'll go into it more later. But yeah.
Yeah, no, because
things happen. Like the prophecy comes true, and they start coming in. And yeah, it turns into basically Attack on Titan. And I've seen Attack on Titan, at least like I can see the parts that like this is very reminiscent of. I haven't seen a lot of the later stuff.
The main villain, this leech-looking guy, he's pretty cool.
I hate it in a way that I love it, where it's like, oh my god, gross, ew. I love it. You know what I mean? Like it's like made to look disgusting and for me to hate it, but it's done in such a good way that I'm like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was trying to talk about the thing.
No, I know.
Before you just start talking about him.
Sorry. But I was gonna say, but I want to just put one other back thought.
I don't know, you were the one that was skipping ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm backpedaling now. But it's like, because I want to mention, when he brought up all the stuff about him monopolizing on power, it was also like everyone was literally standing up to do it, except for those two. They were the only two still remaining, like, on their ass.
And to be fair, like, they did talk about it more. I don't think we see them talk about it. Yeah, this is when it all happens, of like, and they're like asking questions and stuff of like, oh, like, why do you not trust him? And it's like, oh, why should you be a leader? It's just like, oh, because it was in, like, it is like my birthright. That was how.
Yeah, exactly.
It was before, and so it's like.
Yeah, he's like the main, yeah. So
he's like, I'm red.
He's like, I'm the red one, and then we see them immediately start Attack on Titan people.
Yeah, and I think what's really interesting about these grunts is the fact that there's a variety of sizing, because usually they're just like the size of people, and then they grow big. But with this one, there's actually a variety of sizes.
Yeah, and by the way, the bugs are just bailing.
Oh yeah, they bailed. It was like birds right before a tsunami. It goes quiet.
Yeah, and then immediately, like right after the attack starts, Gyra and like that one girl we were following, I guess she didn't die, but she got severely hurt.
I think she might have died, unless like
no, because remember
a thing where like she's okay.
Well, because remember in the synopsis we know Yellow's like a doctor of some sort.
Well, she does. Yeah, like is she?
I think so.
I didn't know she was a doctor.
I thought when we went down the character synopses.
I mean, maybe you did.
No, I know we talked about it because it was.
Well, I don't remember.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's just, I think, because she was the one, like, I like how she said, pretty much, leave the girl's dying corpse.
You're skipping things again. Like, the fact that, like, she's, like, dying in his arms in the first place, and she, like, it really, like, kind of hurt because she had, like, the whole just, like, it's okay, the king will protect us, like, he'll help us, right? It's weirdly reminded me of the Robot Chicken sketch with Voltron. Where it's just yeah, Voltron's coming, buddy.
Yeah, just that, like, yep.
Definitely.
Yep. You're dying in my arms.
But yeah, okay. And she's just like, hey, you need to escape. Just leave her here. I'll take care of her. Like,
yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
By the way, it's weirdly bloody. Like, it's not red. It's black. But, like, we see some goop in here, and I'm just like, wow, this is, like, weirdly violent.
Gooping.
And what can I say? Like, these guys, like, you know, they transformed, and they are giving it all. One thing we don't really have any screenshots of was actually, like,
them going in the back.
What was his name?
Reculus.
I almost called him Reginald. But Reculus was there when they all transformed, and they went to go and start fighting, but he actually...
Well, the other three, Blue left.
Yeah. But Blue left and he left, and they're really intense. Like, you can tell that they've been training for this, like, their whole lives.
Yeah.
And one particular moment I have to mention, because it kind of broke my brain so much, was I was looking at Yellow's suit, and I was like, why does it seem different? Like, and then I realized it's because it's not, like, sexualized. Like, it looks like it's just a king's armor, you know? It looks like royal armor. It's not, like, sexy and booby. Like, she doesn't even have a skirt. Like, she's one of the most feminine characters. Like, she's, you know, wearing bell dresses and, you know, surrounded by flowers and shit. And
which, nothing to say anything wrong.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. And yet she doesn't even have a skirt. And again, like, it's not like, it just looks like functional armor.
Well,
you know
yeah, they all, like, all 5 King-Ohger suits look very similar.
They look good.
But, like, again, the only thing I would say is different is maybe, like, the statures. You know?
Their side caves. But, like, I don't know. It's just, like, it just kind of was like, wow. It finally happened. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because it's, like, how many times in Toku, and I'm like, again, nothing wrong with these suits.
Oh, yeah,
but, like,
absolutely.
do we get, like, just, like, where it's, like, they have such obvious, like, boobs, or, like, having armor plates that look like, that are, like, forming around boobs or something else.
Or, like, it's trying to, like, shape a figure, especially if there's, like, a male suit actor in there. Like, it's, like, faking a figure almost. And they probably gave them padding or something. And also, like, again, like, you know, giving them things like skirts or something.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
To, like, differentiate them from the
and
men.
to hide the penis.
But, I don't know, it's just, like, there's nothing wrong with either of them, but I'm just kind of, like, surprised it, like, as far as I'm aware, kind of took this long for me to see something like that.
Well, yeah, it's like all 5 of the King-Ohger suits, and, like, this is not me knocking them. They
like,
all they match.
Yeah.
Like, it's
absolutely.
like, there's no, like, the differentiating parts are the little thing on the chest where their bug goes, and the helmet, and their helmet. Yeah, like, that's it.
Yeah, and they all even have a sidekick. But, and this, I think, is also another good scene, because this is where, like, I kind of respected her a lot more, because I was, like, gonna be like, oh, she's gonna be, like, a self-centered bitch that just doesn't care about anyone but herself. No, she stepped up to fight. She was doing her thing.
And
she was willing to let someone else be the leader, and then when she saw civilians in trouble, she's like, I will take care of this. You go save yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, it's like that, like, self-centered personality immediately switched off when it needed to.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Like, that's why I say it's more of a confidence thing.
Yeah, and what you were bringing up earlier with Reculus being there with the other 3 when they transform is he also gives, like, this great speech, and he's being inspirational, being like, we're not gonna let them die, we're gonna get them. And then what do we fucking catch him doing later?
Just fucking kicking back and
having a nice glass of wine.
And can I just say also, the fucking facial acting in this show has been so good. Like, here's the thing, this, like, fucking Reculus, his, like, it is hard to pull off
evil douche king
that much of douchery, you know what I mean?
Like, he's such an evil douche.
Like, that's something I've only seen come from, like, actual people that are like that. I haven't seen actors being able to fully portray it correctly, but, like, he nails it, like, with the tone of voice and the eyebrows, and, like, when he widens his eyes or his stupid little smiles, like, it is so douchey in such a, like, really good way.
Well, I guess this is a good moment to just talk about Reculus himself at this moment, because it's really revealing his character. And it just feels like such an old high fantasy thing of, like, oh, he's pretending to be a good guy, but he's actually just a self-centered fucking asshole. But it's like, he has such charisma and everything else. And it's just like, it's like this high betrayal Shakespearean fucking art.
It's a little Caesar Hamlet kind of vibe.
Exactly, where it's like, the more you find out about Reculus and then what leads into this scene, because the reason we see him sipping on wine is because Gyra's just like, I'm gonna go fucking find the king myself. Yeah, and
he goes in there and he's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing? Why aren't you fighting?
Yeah, why are you just fucking kicking back fucking...
And essentially, what he wants to do is, like, he's gonna let them fight the fight for him, and then...
So he can look good. So they can be saved.
And then while they're either weak or dead, he's gonna go and take their kingdoms.
Well, no, he's only gonna take Blue's kingdom because he wasn't gonna listen to him.
But then he was gonna take the rest.
Well,
he named the rest
exactly.
Of them. It's like, oh, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one.
Yeah, and then, like, Gyra's like, but what about the children? He's
They're
just
dying.
like, he's like, He's like, it's a common expense.
And then he says something along the lines of like, oh, like
he's like, oh, you're gonna use people's lives just so you can invade the kingdoms
and have like a sixth sense of justice or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like it's because he goes on like, oh, I want all the kingdoms to be united. But he wants it to be because he rules all of them.
Exactly.
Than, oh, I want them to be joined together in harmony or anything.
Yeah.
It's more just like, I want to conquer everything.
Well, yeah, he's England a long time ago.
Jesus Christ.
He's like, and I love that he's like, you make it sound so sinister. Where it's like, bro, people are dying out there.
And we actually do get to see more of them fighting. Again, these different sized grunts are really interesting. I'm realizing, are they supposed to be like grubs or like worms or something?
I think so, maybe.
Which makes sense.
They look like bulls too.
We get some really cool shots, especially one of Purple when they like shoot an arrow through them.
Yeah, Palpion just shoots.
Good shit, man.
And then we go to Black, who's doing a sweet fight, which they all have their weird weapon thing. And then like we obviously then go back to Gyra and they're arguing, and then we have one of the best. He's like, yeah, he has his Emperor Palpatine moment. And you just see this actor, like the main actor is like, no, he looks so heartbroken.
Yeah, that's true because he like had faith in him. It's just like, okay, it's okay. He's a good guy. He'll protect us. And he's just like,
like his value of what he thinks a king should be, and
he like kind of sort of tackles him, but like they pull him off and he like falls.
Yeah, he takes his cape,
and he takes his sword too. Like
he got both his sword and cape. But he didn't put it on. Don't worry.
And then things are just getting worse outside. It's freaking War of the Worlds out there. It looks really good.
Yeah.
I love the destruction that they did. It looks so good. And he lists off like what a king should be. Or just like, oh, like, you know what it means to like have his sword or something like that. And he's like, that's why you need to use it. And
he pretty much reprimands him for pointing the sword at him.
And he's just like, you just made the entire world your enemy. And I saw people complaining that like the acting in this wasn't good.
It was Reddit. What do you expect?
It was Reddit, but like I would like to point out this single fucking scene where you see an entire story play out on this guy's face and he doesn't even say a word. Like you see just like the shock and the revelation of what has just happened to him because he's just like a poor orphan kid. He can't do anything. He basically
he's a commoner.
With the king saying that, he's just like, I'm either going to be executed or exiled and I'm not going to be able to see any of my friends or family, anything I care about ever again. And this guy is going to be in charge and everything's going to fall apart. Like you see the revelation and then like the anger and the sorrow. Like it looks. I have never seen someone's eyes well up that much with tears without them actually falling off of his face. Like actually,
it was impressive,
pouring out. And then like like him like shaking and like the sword rattling in his hand and him like breathing, and then like just like he puts his head down in just acceptance of like, you know what? If this is what what you say is what justice is. It's bullshit.
He's like, I fucking hate it.
It's stupid. It's dull. It's revolting.
He's just
and
like,
then he wipes the tears off of his face, and he's just like, if sacrificing children is supposed to be justice, then I will be I will become a tyrant king. I will be that evil one that breaks down your justice and replaces it with myself. Like
such a fucking awesome revelation. Like, I love it. Like, I thought we were gonna get like a Geo-like thing.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention he like snaps into a smile, just like, you know what? Fine. If this is gonna be my role, then I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna commit.
He commits.
He puts on his freaking robe. He takes his fucking sword. He steals his fucking bug. Like
No, the bug just wakes up and he's like, "Oh, it's fucking time to party."
Yeah, this is why I say I wonder if they like put like a CGI shell over the puppet just because like, oh, we see him break out of like the dust.
I love this puppet, by the way.
It's so cute.
I love him. But like, no, it's like I love that subversion of expectation. Like, I thought we were gonna get a Geo thing where it was like, oh, you're supposed to.
Evil demon.
Yeah, where it's like everyone just kind of sees him as an evil one, but it's like, no, it's like he's literally just subverting that expectation. He's like, if you are good in this world, I'm being the opposite of you, which means I'm evil. Fuck you.
I will be the most evil I can possibly be. And
by that I think it's funny because his version of good is literally being an asshole, and his version of his version of evil is literally just being a really good guy. He's like,
and again, like he plays into the role, and I kind of love it.
yeah, and it's like
fuck it,
his
I officially have nothing left to lose. You know
well,
what
like
I mean?
he literally his catchphrase is, "I will conquer the world."
Awesome.
The balls on this man, which is probably what woke up the Kuwagata to be like, "Oh fuck, my nut!"
I think the Tanuki might be in the wrong show at this point. You know?
Oh my god. Oh my god. And then literally Reculus is like, "This is fucking impossible," because Gyra's transformed because we find out it literally is in the lore. Only a true king can transform with the sword.
And the bug even, like, apparently kind of talks to him because he's like, "Oh, I like you too."
Yeah, I like
because,
that.
Like, the bug was just like, "Oh, hell yeah, I can party."
He's like, "Oh, we're a vibe, dude.
Hell yeah, let's party." And yeah, like, he gets in that thing and he draws in.
He King-Ohgers it up.
Yeah, and all of the mecha, like...
all 10 of them.
And I have to say, the rigging... We didn't get a screenshot of it, surprisingly, but, like, the rigging on the inside is really interesting. I can tell that's an actual physical prop. It's really cool looking.
Yeah, and, like, one of the hands have the sword.
I am so scared that thing is gonna break, though. It looks weirdly fragile, but...
It looks... Yeah, I bet you it breaks on a daily that thing.
I wonder if they're gonna have to end up replacing it with something else, or just have them be in a green screen room, like how they usually do. Mm-hmm. It's such a cool idea. Again, it's such a fun mixture of like steampunk and medieval. It's so good.
Okay, wait. And this is going into the mecha fight. I love how King-Ohger looks. Like
it looks really good.
It's one of those where I was on the fence on what I was gonna do with the toy line for this for this. I've now pretty much led to a decision, and I knew I wanted King-Ohger. Because one, having the main mecha for each season is kind of a neat thing to always have. And, you know, it wasn't actually that expensive.
Surprisingly.
It's surprisingly.
Maybe we're just comparing it to...
Like, comparing it to some other ones. And I also just loved the design. Like, I love the wings, the giant stag beetle crest, and his, like, horns. And I love that the toy... And I probably will mention this in my review of it.
And some other little dudes come in. Like, you got some ladybugs in there.
Well, yeah, and it's like, well, what I want to say is, like, all of it matches the toy. So, like, the on the suit and everything, it still has the purple on the horns from when it's part of the butterfly. And so it's like, if it's like you see it turn its head, like, you'll see the horns go from, like, the red from the front to the purple. And, like, you see all of the parts. Like, it's detailing in the suits that are on the toy, and it's just... so well done, and the suit is very nimble. Like, it's still very bulky, and I love the wings on the back, and we see him use them, but, like, we just start seeing it go to fucking town, and it just was an awesome fight. Like, and it's like, maybe it's because Donbrothers, all our fights when it was Giant Mecha were always either fully CGI or in that, like, city with the light stick bridge. Like, and it's just been a while since we've actually had physical sets in Sentai where I was just like, oh, yeah. And like I said, maybe it was the little bit of, like, Lord of the Rings where it's like I said, the only reason I haven't watched Lord of the Rings is because I spent most of my time watching Toku. So it's like, I'm like, I get this. And I like this.
We unintentionally picked, like, the perfect time to watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
And since, like, you kind of brought it up, I also want to point out, I love the fact that they just, like, took their gimmick and went fucking to town to it, because they're like, we have an entire planet to play with as we want. Everything is bug-related. Like, and I'm talking, like their names, their fixtures, clothes, their buildings, their fixtures, the decorations, like... This whole entire...
the taxi.
Like, this version of humanity is based around...
even the villains.
They're all based around bugs in some way, and that is really cool to me. Like, it's not just like, oh, it's a Sentai group in Japan, they got bugs, you know what I mean? It's like, bugs are popular, right? No. It's just like, no, like, people's whole lives revolve around bugs in a way, and so it makes sense the fact that this is all bug-related.
Like, it's...
But, like, in such a... It's in like such a unique way. Like, has there ever been another Sentai that you've seen has gone that ham that much?
A couple. Because
their gimmicks.
Abaranger, because they actually had a dinosaur cafe with a giant T-Rex head. So, I'm like, I've seen some of them
like,
commit.
That's a setting, like that's not like
the aesthetic.
Like that. No, that's not like the world building.
No, and it's like I can think of a few. Q-Ranger, when they went to different planets, they went until they didn't have any money, and then they stopped trying. But like, and like I can agree with you. It's like this is when I say this, and like I said, this was everything you were asking for.
Yeah.
Like literally, we were trying to talk about what it's like. We just heard the concept and what King-Ohger was going to be, and I was like, "What do you want this to be?" And you're just like, "I want it to be what I wanted Saber to be," and it is exactly that. But I'm also realizing when I look back at this, looking back at Saber and looking back at Re-Soldier, where I'm like, it would have been awesome if they would have gone as hard as they are here, like just going for the full knight aesthetic. And like just going for the full fantasy instead of just like, oh, we're in fantasy but we're still in modern day and let's do this.
That's exactly what I meant when I said like, have you ever seen something that just commits so much to it?
Like, yeah.
Also, you know what? Something I realized I forgot to mention. Like as we were talking, like actually, there's two things I want to mention. One you already know. The cape that he puts on that was the other king's. Reculus's, yeah. Oof, that's hard to say.
Gyra and Reculus.
It looks like it's almost a little too big for him. I wonder if they're gonna pull like a Miles Morales kind of thing where like, oh, either he gets like his own that fits him properly, or like we actually see it fit him more as he becomes more fit for the role.
Yeah.
But I also noticed like when he swings it, because this isn't like one solid cape, it's like a cape made out of like multiple pieces.
Multiple tiny capes.
I realized, does that not just look like bug wings?
It does.
Like kind of like when it unveils its shell kind of thing.
Yeah. Which, by the way,
they sold that thing for like, what was it, $800?
Something ridiculous.
I was just like, that looks really cool, but no. I was like, why is it so
Must
expensive?
be real yak's fur.
Yeah, I was wondering why it was so expensive, but now that I see it twirl and it's like, oh, it's because it's so many like, because it's also not just
good
one
luck
piece.
Cosplayers.
It's not just like one piece that's like cut up like how you would like a piece of paper or something. It's all individual pieces, and I'm like, oh, that's why.
Yeah, and also it's very interesting to say this is the first fully themed, I should say. I know people would be being like, actually, but there's these other ones. Our first official fully themed bug Sentai. I know we have like fucking Beat Stagbuster, like, and fucking Hurricaneger guys, fucking those guys.
But everyone's based off of a bug.
Where it's like, I'm about to say, you can only...
Everything is based off of a bug.
Where it's like, yeah, it's like, this is the fully bug team.
They even put up one thing in a magazine, I think it was, that you showed me, where it was like, it had, like, what bugs they based the mechas on.
Oh, yes. Where it's like, yeah, where, Murder Hornets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's actually the Murder Hornet, but, like, they're trying to sell these DVDs with other artwork and everything else, so it's like, oh, this is what the gods are based off of, and it just shows you a really picture,
cool, actually, and it has a little advertisement for like bug DVDs.
So it's like, hey kids, if you like King-Ohger, learn more about bugs.
To be fair,
they're committing to the bugs.
Bugs are like a really big passion in Japan. Like,
oh yeah,
beetle catching is literally just a
shoot. That's why, like, that's what was like a gimmick in Yokai Watch, was that you could actually go bug catching and everything too.
I mean, Animal Crossing too.
That too.
I mean, that's probably always been a thing.
But yeah, no, it's like, this was such a... It's so weird after a year of literally being refreshed to still be like, holy shit, this is new and exciting.
All I can say is just like, I hope it keeps it up.
I do.
really hope it doesn't disappoint me.
It had a fantastic opening.
That is a great opening.
It felt high fantasy. It felt like you said, the Hamlet thing of like Gyra being like, oh, but the king's not what I wanted it to be. Like the deep betrayal. It's like, it feels like we were walking in similar to how Geats opened up, where it's like, I feel like we just walked into the middle of this story and we're just kind of going, but okay. And again, maybe it's also because we just watched Lord of the Rings. I don't know.
Does this not just feel like if I wrote a Sentai?
A little bit. I like it.
I love it.
I like it. I do. But yeah, enough about that. I'm about to say, we'll get back to that next week.
Yeah, I guess tune in next week for more King-Ohger. Let's see where this takes us. Because we do see that, like, oh, they hang out with him in some capacity. So it's like, I wonder if, like, they're going to, quote-unquote, like, betray their kingdoms or leave, like, their positions because they don't agree with what happened, and they don't bring him more, so they're not technically royalty anymore.
Okay, wait.
I don't know what's going to happen,
yeah.
but I guess we'll see.
I want to say one of my hopes, though. I get it, and I know there's debates on whether Reculus should be redeemed or not. I want to watch his fucking world crumble. That's what I want. I want to see this man break.
I honestly really do hope that he's just a dick. I really want him to just be an asshole who's taking advantage of people. I don't want him to be redeemed. I want him to just be evil. And I do want him to...
That's all I want.
Just be
where it's like,
trudging in the slums afterwards.
Yeah,
know?
and if somebody's just like, oh, but that's so basic, where I'm like,
well, it's like we've... in a jail cell, you know what I mean?
And it's like, we get it so rarely now, you know what I mean? We ever rarely get that, that twirly mustache villain, but played well and well written. Like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes when you hear that, people are like, oh, so you want them to be generic? Be like, I'm gonna tie the girl to the train tracks. No, I just want them to be an evil fuck, and they know they're an evil fuck.
Here's the difference, because, like, it's all in the nuance. You know what I mean? Like, it's like something could sound generic on paper, but it's the performance that makes it. And I feel like it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a typical King thing of like, oh, I'm gonna let them fight the thing, and when they're tired, I'm gonna take over. And I don't care about the orphans and whatever. Like, yeah, that's a very generic, like, evil king thing, but the way that it is played is what makes it good. The
How it was
actor
performed
is what makes it good.
Like, it's the performance.
And the writing and,
again,
the performance. It's everything combining together, and it makes it good.
Somebody told the actors beforehand, they're like, you're performing fucking Shakespeare, and I want that to be how you're acting, thank you.
You are in Shakespeare, and you are the asshole. Play it up as much as you can. He was just like, got it.
Well, it's like, and it's like, we don't know much about the other four.
Yeah,
outside of
much.
It's like we know a little bit about Blue, but not a lot.
Oh, he also tried to hack into the
Oh yeah,
Beetle.
he tried to wake up to Beetle. He's like, what the fuck? I thought I got it past the lock, and the Beetle's like, I don't like your vibe. I vibe checked you. You didn't pass.
Did not pass the vibe check.
Now
and then he's just like, fuck you. If this is justice, I'm gonna be a tyrant king. And then he's just like, oh hell yeah, he passed the vibe check.
He's like, dude, how did you?
Beetle.
He's like, how did you know? That's my vibe. I love saving orphans and burning villages. Oh wait, we don't burn villages. Fuck, I'm sorry.
I'll settle for saving the orphans. It's fine. the village is already on fire, or whatever.
Whatever, I'll be satisfied. It's fine.
Should we move on to Geats? Or?
But yeah, no. It's just, again, I wasn't expecting to be rocked by this as much as I was. Like, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I was setting the standards low. Like, I was like, I'm like, just be fun. It was fun and intriguing and engaging, and I like it.
I hope they keep
That's
it
why
up.
we've been talking about this for so long.
Yeah, what can I say? Like, I'm invested. It hooked me.
I'm gonna be sad if this falls apart.
Please don't. Please don't. Please, just be good. Just continue to do this, and I'll be so happy.
But yeah, we're going into the Yamato Grand Prix. We gotta move on, or we'll keep talking.
Yeah, I'll just keep going.
We're just gonna keep talking. But yeah, no, we have entered the Gelato, the Gelato Grand Prix. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah. So Baroba is the game master.
Because of course she is.
And she's giving out these like
bells.
I think this is a Japanese legend thing because like they mention it later.
There's so many things they use with bells. Yeah, what about it?
Is that what you were looking for?
No, that's not what I was...
see a close-up of it at some point.
But yeah, no.
Or is that just it?
That's their names. That's not the rules.
Anyway, sorry. But that's when they reveal it, though.
Yeah.
Switch it over.
Okay, maybe I can find that, though, because we'll get to the rules in a second. But pretty much we have a group of Yamato, we have a horse.
But anyway, with the bells, like, I think it's... We kind of learn more about it later. But apparently that's like an Oni thing, where like an Oni will have like a thing of bells, and if you steal one, you get a wish or something like that.
Something like that.
And she has the Yamato Grand Prix.
We don't know that yet, by the way.
Logo on it. Again, yeah, we don't know that. I just thought I would mention that because I was confused as fuck. It's just like, why bell belts?
Why the fuck
bell
these
belts?
bell bottoms? But yeah, no, and pretty much Geats and Jin. Ace and Jin are just like hanging out, and they're just like, and he's like the fucking Yamato Grand Prix fuckers. This is bullshit. You don't even have the ability to actually grant the wish. Fucking weak.
We're a bunch of losers.
So yeah, and we pretty much get to see what's left of the Yamato, which are the 5 members and a couple plants. He is trying to grow more. Don't worry, the gardener's alive.
Yeah, he only has like 2 left, and there's like a bunch of like them in like jars or something in the background. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, so and we pretty much get to see their names because again, all the Yamato are named after chess pieces. Yeah. I don't know if we ever mentioned that before, but they are. So obviously, like, we have
Buffa, we have the Rook,
we have Knight,
Bishop, and then 2 pawns.
Exactly. Do you like that the Knight has 2 horse heads?
Yes.
And by the way, the pawns are pretty much the advanced
they are
Yamato
in an
riders.
L shape, aren't they?
Yes.
Chest joke. But anyway, and the intro is also
Yeah,
different.
and it's even saying like how Yamato might be able to replace humans and everything.
Right.
Because there's a new aspect they added this week.
I skipped. I'm sorry. But yeah, because like we see Buffa's friend like walk in, like his dead friend. That
It's the Yamato. He's the knight.
The one that like he was doing all this for in the first place.
Well, the one that pissed him off, and we found out a little bit more about their history.
He's actually the knight, the
horse head,
the horse head with two.
Can monster.
Yeah, and,
remember when he drank all of those?
And like he can like speak in like full sentences. He has memories. He recognizes Buffa. He talks to him.
He's calling him. Yeah.
And Buffa recognizes him and like is just.
He's kind of thrown off.
I think he thought it must have been like an illusion or like something at first, and then he's just like, "Wait, you're real."
Well, yeah.
And Sparrow even says this was like, "Yeah, like they're evolving so much. It's such an interesting specimen."
Yeah, he's like, pretty soon he'll be indistinguishable from you and from your friend.
So interesting.
And it's like, it is very interesting, and we'll get in. Should we just get into that part now, like the little history part of Buffa, like because like, is there really any point of saving it for later?
I guess we could just
it's
blow
like
over it real quick if you want.
Where it's like, because we pretty much then later, it's like after they do their first game.
Do you want to scroll to that part so we?
And like it's pretty much him giving Buffa, like we see him looking at the scar at his hand, and he's like, Buffa's like, "Oh, do you remember how you got that scar?" And his friend was like, "Yeah, of course I know how I got." And he's like, "How could I forget?" And he's like, and he was just pretty much goes into like they used to be like delinquent youths, and like Buffa was eating a corn dog, and like a kid kicked a corn dog.
No, it was like a Yakuza looking guy.
I know, but it's either way the kick.
They're like, finally, and
and they just start knuckling up, and like and we don't know if that's the fight where he got that scar, but we kind of see that like Buffa's kind of had a rough of it.
Yeah, and they even said like, "Oh yeah, I used to be really crazy before the boss found us," which is, I imagine, like
the construction company,
and everything.
So.
And even Baroba kind of asks, like, how does it feel?
Yeah, and he's just kind of like, I'm not, it's like almost like he's in denial.
Like, I don't know what to feel.
Exactly. And it's like, and honestly, again, these Yamato are way more advanced than the previous Yamato. Like, they're people.
Even the ones that, like, looked like other people didn't really have their original personalities much and didn't really speak that much. So the fact that he's just like, yeah, I know who you are, I know how I got the scar, I know who I am, and hi, I'm speaking in full sentences. You know?
Well, yeah, exactly. And like that's so far, it's like that's the difference from all these Yamatos. It's like I said, they're evolving, and it's just like it's just so eerie, and it makes you feel so much differently, even about just the grunts. Like they're doing this because they want their right to their worlds and everything, which also the intro gave all of the, I guess, Desire Grand Prix riders, so everyone except Buffa got to be in the intro with their sponsor or supporter, and I love Tycoon's face.
Yeah.
That may or may not have been up for a little bit. I don't know. I know I'm definitely using this in the editing process because I love it too much, where it's like it looks like he's touching an actual toad in a suit or something.
Yeah, he's like holding him. He's just like,
why is it so moist? And pretty much after we get the Yamato Grand Prix, which we get rules, which one of the things where you can get points is for ruining lives and like doing all this other shit.
Dreams
exactly. It's like, and we'll get to, and the biggest points is killing common riders because they're the villains of the Yamato Grand Prix.
Yeah, we talk about that more later.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. And then we have a kid.
This like random town that's having an Oni Bell Festival.
The Bell Oni Festival.
The Bell Oni Festival.
It's the baloney.
And once you pointed that out,
I was like, it's the baloney festival.
Starts Friday.
But like, yeah, and he's just like, he talks to this man, and that's where we learn the thing about the bells. And
yeah,
he's like, if you get a bell from an Oni, you get a wish. And he's like, cool.
Oh, if I do that, will my mom come home?
Which, yeah, like he's a kid with a mom in the hospital. Classic Toku tit. Oh, him having flowers.
I thought it was. See, when I first saw this, I immediately was like, "Oh, he's going to her grave."
Yeah, I guess.
But so I guess that's.
I always assume that it's a sick mom. If there's just saying.
Like I was just like, "Oh, he must be going to her grave or something."
Also,
like,
where's his dad?
Like,
also, where's his dad?
Who knows? Maybe he's dead.
Oh shit!
It doesn't matter.
Just like Tycoon said. And like, cause we get a scene.
Like they do end up rolling up. I really like how they used the bells to their advantage. Of like you just hear them in the distance chinging in through the fog, and then they come in and they just start wrecking shit.
And it's so funny because then immediately they're like, "Hey, the Jamato showed up," and like the game master Cheermy's just immediately like, you don't want to do that." He's like, "You're not gonna win anything," and Tycoon's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. We just need to save the people." Where he's like, and he's just like, "What? That's like a documentary. That's lame." And he's like, "I don't fucking care." And they obviously go to knuckle up, and that's where we learn the point thing.
Because Buffa's there, and he's just like, "I can get points off of you," because he's like, this is the first time he's like directly fighting.
Yeah, he's in the Jamato Grand Prix.
The Jamato fighting them.
Yeah, Kamen Riders are worth 10,000 points, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's hilarious, and we pretty much get to see the Jamato riders use the fever slot, and it's kind of funny because much like Buffa when he uses the zombie one, it doesn't keep any of like the main armor. It just kind of changes the upper torso. So at least that's pretty consistent. But then Nyago was like, "Oh yeah, then I'll do the same," and we actually get to see her use zombie, which is pretty
really
cool.
Like I love how she like grabbed instead of like dragging the thing down the blade, she just grabs it with the blade and then just smacks someone with it.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's when they're all like, "Holy shit, these Jamatos are fucking super advanced. Like, what's going on?" And like that's when
I think it's like like the round ends and they leave, right?
Well, no, it's like because this is right when like Tycoon was about to get a killing blow from fucking Knight, or like. And he was just like, "Hey, we're more determined than you humans." And then he's like, "Okay, you guys were saved by the bell." And then Mario Lopez shows up, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?"
And one thing I mentioned, I kind of want to hear. It's just like the attitudes of the writers are so different in this. Like it's really interesting because like just in the last spree with like the disaster and everything,
the drama getting ramped up.
Like, just. You could tell that everyone was doing this for a very selfish reason. They were fighting for being selfish, and
except for
even Nago, like
she almost
Neon,
broke.
Like, basically, nearly snapped. But now that like the goal of you're doing this to get what you want is gone. It's more just you're doing this because these people are in danger. Their personalities have like almost completely snapped back to what they used to be. Because I feel like that's really powerful. It's just like I feel like
it shows you what their nature is.
Like the goal of like fighting for what you want really changes how you act as a person.
Which even like Geats, where it's like you can tell how determined he is to help this kid. Like especially later, because obviously the kid, they make sure to show you the thing about stomping on dreams and stuff.
By the way,
right before they show you the kid's flowers get stomped on.
By the way, the kid's acting was actually like really good, especially in this instance when he was just like so upset and like crawling backwards looking at like the flowers that meant so much to him.
Yeah, like I said, I like how they showed you that they get points from them getting crushed, but just to do that, and like you can really tell Geats was determined to help that kid. Like we see a little bit more later, but like
I know a thing or two about mommy issues.
And like but then we have Gene, who's just like
we have such an interesting conversation between the two of them.
Well, yeah, he's like he's like, "Oh, the past is really fucking interesting," because he's like, "Oh, in the future, everything is determined.
Predetermined.
Everything's predetermined. From the moment you're born, everything is ideal." Like
personality, appearance, family, love, career, like your lifespan, like everything is already ideal. And it makes me like kind of think back to like what I was like suggesting of like the sponsors like true forms,
the supporters, yeah, like
it says like even like your appearance and like how you are and how you look is just what suits you the most. So it's like Gene is like this
He's just human, and maybe Baroba is too.
I mean, and yeah, Baroba, but like, you know, she has like her style and her mismatched eyes and the heart on her and like the dyed hair, you know. It's, you know, very her and everything.
Which that means they designed a human in the future to just like watching other people suffer. Which, to be fair, that's so weird. But like, yeah.
But of like, oh, is he actually the statue, or is he just talking in it, and just like, oh, do you like my human form or whatever? So it really does make me think that like, oh,
he's just
him as a like in like you had mentioned like in their little sponsor areas is when they're in their like true
maybe
forms.
That's when they're in their true form.
And
so
like he's in his statue form, and what if like was it Kyun?
Yeah, Kyun is just the paper.
He's just the paper. He's like an incorporeal being.
he's the ghost writer. I told you, not writer, writer.
Writer.
And like it's just so weird. It even has the thing where it has to tell you that even your lifespan is predetermined. So
you don't mourn.
So yeah, so it's like so there's no sadness in death.
And I feel like weirdly enough, these guys can probably relate a lot to like how we talked about Taro, just like because everything is perfect and because there's no struggling, like.
This is so entertaining to them.
Desire, and that's the whole reason, like, they have the reactions they do. Like, oh, Baroba's reaction was wanting to watch people suffer in order to feel something.
Jean like, just wants to feel excitement.
He wants to, like, feel moved and excited. Even, the frog guy, just, like, oh, he, like, wants to be like, you're a
strong sense of justice, almost.
Yeah. And, I'm still kind of figuring out Kyun. But just like
Kyun
I want to see someone like fall in love. I want to have someone have like the romantic move, you know, like oh, like the like when you watch like a romantic comedy or like a romance or something, like oh, you want to feel those emotions.
Well, yeah, he says
those are the emotions they're trying to get out of the show that they're watching, despite the fact that people are legitimately being affected by it.
Yeah, and honestly, it's very interesting.
Like they're just playing out their little fantasies.
Yeah, just
in order
doing
to
what they want. And
playing with these people and their lives and their time and their world. Baroba was right. It's their playground to do with what they will. Like
yeah, and then we go to Tycoon with Kikura, and like he's just like, what the fuck were you doing?
That's his name. Okay.
Yeah, Kikura. He's like, what the fuck were you doing? He's like, I was helping with a festival. He's like,
What's that?
He's like, what the fuck is a festival? And he's like, you don't know what a festival is? He's like, you don't know everything about your old shit, so shut the fuck up.
Which is actually a fair point. To be fair, if I were to know I were to be traveling back in time, I would research it, but like, I probably wouldn't know about like holidays and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't be like, what the fuck is a Christmas?
But each of them talk about the festival in a different way. Like, oh, like how they're like looking forward to it or they want to see it. I am convinced that the next episode they are going to be going to the festival with their sponsors or something.
That's going to be funny.
Kyun even goes up to Neon. And
after she gets like, somebody was like.
They have a bit of a spat. Like.
Well, it's so funny in this moment. It's. Because, like, you had two of her fans be like, you want to go to the festival with me? And she's like, well, and he's just like, oh my god, you're such a bitch. Asshole mode activated.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, the princessy behavior. Just, oh, you're so excited over such little flattery or whatever.
Yeah, he's just like, that's why you're such a princess, which her offended look on her face.
She just insults the hell out of him. Like, what she called him, like, a...
She's like, oh yeah, but the Onis would like you with your wormy personality, and he goes from asshole to what the fuck?
Excuse me?
What? And then we go to the biggest thing in this episode, in my opinion. So it's Lord Reginald hanging out with Neon's dad. It's been a hot minute since we've seen Timefire.
Wonder where the mom went. Wonder if she's alright.
She's been banished. She broke Lord Reginald's favorite fake books.
His favorite fake book. Those had my favorite fake authors.
God, Lord Fappington, Flatulence the Grey, Greygick. I meant to say, I don't know why Grey came out. I'm being serious.
Flatulence the Brown.
Oh no.
Radagastrointestinal problems.
But yeah, no. And we find out. This is just pretty much like Timefire being like, hey, what are you guys gonna do about it? People are now learning about Jamato and everything. I can't suppress everything as fuck.
Yeah, like I can't suppress the government and police.
So we now know what he does. Holy shit.
Yeah.
He's covering up for them.
And he's just like, you do realize that, and he's like, yeah, they're trying to draw me out. And he's like, okay, how are you going to deal with the trap?
He's like, yeah, we might just have to wipe our hands clean and
like,
call it good.
But weirdly enough, he's just like, oh, Neon hasn't gotten their wish yet. And fucking
he
Reginald,
just slaps him and puts him in his place in 2 sentences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just one, if anything.
Yeah, exactly. Because he literally just claps back with, then why don't you show your beloved daughter some true love?
I was like, oh, fuck.
Like, that's all he had to say. That's all he had to say. But then he goes on to tell you, Neon's a wish.
Yeah, like, apparently... what he said was, oh, for...
But you
because
can't.
He got offended. He's like, oh, you can't? For the daughter you won using the goddess's power. So, yeah, in some way she's a wish. I don't know we don't know what the wish is. We don't know if it's like, I want everything I ever wanted.
Or my daughter.
Or I want a wife and a daughter and $1 billion. Like, we don't really know. But, like, in some way, Neon is a wish.
Exactly.
Which is kind of wild.
So she was created by the desire god.
And I have to say, like, this kind of fits interesting into, like, some of the other things we've been theorizing about, because, like, we've had, like, the theory of Geats being the goddess of creation's son, because she, like, that was, like, her wish to, like, be freed or have, like, this end or
something.
Like, I'm gonna create a son.
If that's right, we could be proven wrong in, a next episode.
This is a theory going off of a theory that I made. Like, this can only, like, work out so much. But it makes me wonder if, like, in some way, our main 3 are all wishes.
I don't know if Tycoon would be, but then again, I also think his parents died, but then we also didn't. Why wasn't he there with his sister the day they died? That could be something, but I'm not quite sure.
We think that the parents may have been in the Grand Prix too.
Yeah, and honestly, though, I think I like more the idea of those 2 are the special ones, while Tycoon is just
the everyman.
Some guy.
Somebody. But
yeah.
But yeah,
But like that was just such a fucking moment to hear that it's like in them telling her that's the reason that she can't feel true love. Is it because she's a wish? Of some sort? Or it's like, because that's what he says.
A hole inside them or something.
Like, because that's pretty much what Lord Reginald is saying.
I also wonder, like, because now that we know that he was in a pre and he won.
Yeah. Does that mean, like...
It makes me wonder, like, because, what were their names?
Ben and John.
Ben and John. The 2 security guards that she was buddies with and we haven't seen in a long time. They are going to be coming back, by the way. The actors have confirmed. Hello, if you're listening.
Probably not.
Probably not, but hello. They had their ID cords and they remembered everything, and we haven't seen them since. I wonder if, like, he hit because he was hiding them. It's just like, oh, he didn't want them to know what he did. And I'm just like, what did he do?
No, I don't know if it's for what he did, but I wonder if it's like, or it's his buddies.
Why would he specifically be hiding them then?
But why would he have them? Because I think maybe he would want them.
Because
it's like
because to keep them close.
Well, like that's what I'm saying. Keep them close, but also so they can never probably be brought back into the Grand Prix. You know, maybe it's something like that, like it's his buddies or something. I don't know.
We don't have enough information.
I want to know.
Again, a lot of these are just theories.
Exactly. Like, so... so it's very interesting.
We should probably move
on. But yeah, no, like, that was just such a fucking flabbergasting moment.
My God, like...
But yeah, no. And then we pretty much already went into the other stuff, but then the second round starts.
But one thing that I gotta mention that, like, we totally forgot to mention was the fact that Baroba gave him a new outfit and he looks so fucking stupid.
You just hate this outfit.
It's like a leather jacket with like a tracksuit underneath that and like a turtleneck underneath that with like big bell-bottom pants. The pants and the jacket, and I can see working if he had a different under anything else. And they also like straightened his hair, and I already complained that it's like his hair is he shouldn't be having a mullet. At least keep it in a ponytail because that looks a lot better.
To be fair, it's in a ponytail all the time now.
Yeah, it's in a bun. Like, the bangs are, like, some of it's in a bun, but, like, they, like, straightened his hair. I'm like, they made you look worse. What did they do?
Yeah, and that's pretty much where we get the history lesson.
Yeah, oh, and we see that the kid's mom is in a hospital.
Well, yeah, I already mentioned that.
Yeah, I know. But
yeah, and then round 2 starts.
Yep.
And, obviously, after that conversation...
Just a Yamato dude just, like, vibing on a drum.
He's
like, we see him in the background playing sometimes. It's really funny.
Well, yeah, and then we get a fucking sweet ass fight where it's like Buffa and his dead Yamato friend and Geats and Zine are teaming up, and I think it's fucking kind of cute that Geats is like, I don't remember saying you're my partner or anything.
Don't say that.
He's just like, no.
And Buffa does what we've been wanting for so long. He fucking stabs the bitch and flips him like a beetle, which is funny because we saw that in King-Ohger.
Yeah, we did get that in King-Ohger, and it was so funny to see him do like the bull maneuver though. That was so amazing.
And
the fight was awesome.
After the talk with Baroba, he's just like, "Can you just give me something so I can win? You're the game master, right?" And she's like, "I guess I could put a secret mission in." And it was hit a common rider from point blank range.
And we get a Buffa box.
I'm just like, yeah, that sounds like an achievement he would get. And he gets, what's it called again?
He gets the command twin buckle.
Yeah, and it looks bitchin' on him, honestly. He looks fucking good.
He gets the sweet shades, and then
oh my god.
To get to full power.
Yeah, because you have to charge it by hitting things.
With the sword.
And he wanted to, use the thing, and it wasn't working, so he just said, fuck it, and slashed himself.
Yeah, he slashed it up, and then he got a full charge, and he's like, fuck yeah, and then he just starts whooping on Geats.
And then it just ends in the middle of the fight on a cliffhanger, and I was upset.
And it was amazing. We're getting Boost Mach 2 next episode.
I gotta say that this episode was kind of interesting just because it fell into, I don't know what to call it. But
answer territory?
No, like a writer-ism of, there's, this interesting plot going on. But the festival's tomorrow! You know what I mean?
But the festival was always the B plot.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of dumb,
it was just surprising because we haven't really had that in this show yet, so it was just like, oh.
Yeah, and
it made me notice that it wasn't in the show, kind of.
Yeah,
thing.
Exactly. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot B plots.
It makes me appreciate.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like it's like that episode in O's.
And the fact that I really hope that they just show them hanging out with their sponsors at this festival, and like their cute outfits or something. I am so ready for it.
You are excited.
I'm excited for it. And we did see in the preview that is it a movie? Is it a team up movie?
What is that?
Because Geats and King-Ohger.
Oh no, that's a bumper. That's the bumper for Superhero Time.
Oh, but we see them in.
Yeah, he's already in Boost Mach 2.
What's it called? Oh my gosh, the king's quarters.
Yeah, it's the king in the castle. The castle of the king, and they're just he's just walking up with Sarumi, and they're just like, oh hey, come hang out with King-Ohger, and then they pose together. Only him though. Nobody else gets to join apparently. Fuck everyone else.
But yeah.
I think this was one of these episodes where it's I don't think there's a ton of talk about, but it answers a bunch of stuff. Again, we got the shocking revelation of Neon being a wish. We got finding out more about this. That witch. We have literally finding out more about the future and just being how far in the future they really are.
And just how it affects them and how it.
It's a good episode. It was a ton of fun. We got to learn more about the Yamato stuff and Buffa's history. Buffa's the character we know the least amount back-wise. You know what I mean? We knew his friend died.
Except for maybe
Well, Geats is supposed to be the mystery box.
Yeah. We know a little bit of what his goals are, and we can make assumptions based off of that. But I kind of wonder how old he is now, because he says he's been doing this for 2,000 years, or since 1 AD or something. But now it's there was a previous game navigator that wasn't her. That was probably his mom, but she's also pretty young. I mean, to be fair,
it's hard to say. Where it's we don't know if he's jumping dimensions.
Also, obviously the dad won and got the goddess's wish, unless that's just something you can just pay for or something.
I'm wondering if he doesn't know how to follow. He follows them into different worlds.
And then we see Geats get it, and it wasn't ancient Japan, or it wasn't it was during at least a more modern era. So it's how long has he been doing this? Was that it could have just been a lie.
It could have been a lie. It's
but I'm wondering
I think we'll find out
what
next
the
episode.
True truth is because I don't think it's a normal answer. I'm just oh yeah, I've been doing this for 8 years.
Well, yeah,
it doesn't feel it feels like that would be almost anticlimactic, you know.
Well, ultimately, we know how many times he's won the Grand Prix with how many wishes we saw. So he's limited of 4, but he feels like he's been doing this a while.
I don't know if he would have done it just 4. I feel like he must have done.
Well, no, I'm saying we saw how many wishes he already had granted. And I'm thinking he's jumping world to world somehow, following the Grand Prix and doing all these Grand Prix.
That's fair. Maybe he's been able to I'm a fox. Like, oh, what am I this time?
That's what I'm thinking. But like, also,
he did just run in and like start like
doing it
on Dramato. So I wonder if because that's what Zine saw that interested him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, oh, these guys again. I better make myself look good to see if someone picks me.
Well, like, yeah, it's like we don't know, and like because we're definitely getting some answer. We're definitely getting answers next episode because we literally see him holding the boost buckle, screaming. It says something revealed, and we get Boost Mach 2. So
I wonder
we're
if he
getting
calls
something,
upon the power of the goddess of creation,
or he creates it himself.
I don't know. We're just gonna have to see. Like,
exactly.
Good stuff is
it's
coming,
ramping.
dudes.
It's ramping. We have this going. We have King-Ohger going. It's a good going stream.
I feel like basically the next week is gonna be like, these were like the pitch, and we're gonna see like the answers to it.
Again,
like, what are the reactions to what we just saw?
It's ironic. I could say we're going into almost a Toku renaissance. No?
Boo! Bad joke.
No, the Ren Fair though. No, but like
we've been talking for a while, so I feel like we probably should try and wrap it up a bit. But
yeah, no. I don't know. Which did you like more this week?
I mean, King-Ohger.
Really? Okay.
Geats was very interesting. It had a lot of good plot points. It had a lot of good reveals in it.
Well,
but like the plot itself, like especially the B plot, like didn't super interest me. Like,
yeah,
so it's like I don't care about the festival.
I don't care about the sick kid in the festival. We know it's gonna be okay about the end.
The kid and his mom, but just like in King-Ohger just fully entrapped me into its world. I'm just like, more please.
Yeah, and like I can agree with that. It's like it's just such a solid opening. Like there's nothing bad to say about Geats this week, but it's like I was not expecting to be as floored as I am with this show.
Geats, it was not bad. I would not say that there are any bad episodes. I just feel like this is probably the weakest one we've seen so far.
Yeah, but again, you need lighter weeks. Like, I feel like this is the episodes of when Geats was starting.
Because there was so much revealed, I feel like it makes sense for everything to be a bit dialed back, so that can take the front line. I guess. I can't think of the proper word, but
well, like, and the other thing I want to mention is that I think is really neat is I want to say this is about where Donbrothers was when Geats started, because we thought Donbrothers is good. Like, again, we said last week it hits every week, but Geats did a little bit better because it's like it's more exciting and it was going, and it's like it had a solid opening as well. Like it's like that's kind of why King-Ohger has to, I would say, win this week, because it's like it fucking came in and it's like it's going for it.
Oh yeah.
It's sprinting, and I really did like it. Which, by the way,
favorites. What do you think of the theme song? Like, we heard a little bit of it.
We heard a little bit of it, and it's on Spotify if you want to listen to it.
We'll hear a little bit more of it.
Oh, we'll get the intro next episode.
Time.
I like it.
I want to hear it more, and I also want to see like what they have for the visuals for it.
Yeah.
But like, it's just like a hyperactive song. Like, there is just.
I think the line "It's all mine" is in it.
I don't know when the person singing breathes. Like it's because it's a and I'm just like, oh,
I like
breathe
it.
Like you're turning blue.
Some people just got them lungs though.
That's fair. Them sing-alongs.
But yeah, no, it's like I can't wait, Nick.
Baby.
I can't wait for next week's King-Ohger to really see where they're gonna go with it. I'm excited. I'm excited for Geats as always.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm real excited for the next episode.
Like it's a solid, good. We're entering a very good season, at least for us personally on this show. If you're not feeling Geats, if you're not feeling King-Ohger, I'm sorry. We're fucking loving them all, and we're gonna eat them up. Like I said, maybe it's because we watch Lord of the Rings. I don't know.
It primed you.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's like.
I don't know. How do you think you would feel different if you had to just watch some Lord of the Rings?
I don't know. Like that's the thing. It's like because you have to think during this. I have high fantasy on my mind, and I'm thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, high fantasy is fun. Where it's like, I think I would have enjoyed it.
Like seeing like almost like the source material that most high fantasy comes off of. Like I feel like maybe you appreciate it a little more.
Like it's like from that and King Arthur, I still would have liked it. I think we still would have done it.
King Arthur is another really good.
Like they're definitely probably gonna do like a King Arthur thing with this. Obviously,
probably.
Like I will not be shocked. And I seriously I'm floored, but it's like also just, where it's like I just saw a really well done high fantasy, and like seeing this, and they're still trying and doing the effort and trying to feel the same way in a way. Like, obviously, I'm not saying King-Ohger
I feel like that's unfair to directly compare King-Ohger and Lord of the Rings.
No, like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm not trying to do that. I'm saying, like, in their execution, they are trying with their full heart to make you feel like you're in this world, and it worked for me.
Instead of trying to be Lord of the Rings, they looked at what made Lord of the Rings, or just high fantasy, or a story.
It made a world.
Good. It's just like, it gives you like backstory and lore of what's important. It lets you know what this world looks like.
It opens 2,000 years ago.
It lets you know like how the world works, and like, it just, and then it like introduces you to what you need to know, and then it goes from there, and then it doesn't stop. You know what I mean?
And it was great. And it's like, from the acting,
and the fact that like
the acting would have won me over, though.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you that. That would have.
Again, like that one scene that I was like, I pointed
the scene where he says he's gonna conquer the world, like, that was the fucking
the one
best.
Where, again, like his face telling a story was incredible. And just the fact that it's basically just like, this is our world to do what we want. Like, they don't have to abide by any rules.
Yeah.
Essentially.
They probably will eventually, but not right now.
You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just like they can basically do whatever they want. Like, and again, like, I want to point out one thing. Like, again, the fact that everything is based off of bugs, I love so much. Because, like, you'll see them in, like, little decorations in, like, the background. Such little details that don't need to be there, but are.
Well, yeah.
Even down to, like, the throne. Like, it looks like a gear that, like,
has a bugged
clicks,
hand.
But it's, like, a bug hand. It's, like, because it's really just going into, like, so many of these vibes. And
I love it.
How does it work? How did they make knights, like Lord of the Rings, King Arthur style medieval shit,
and mixed it with robot bugs,
steampunk gears and technology of different varieties? Like, each of the different kingdoms have technology in different ways, and then also bugs, and they made it work and work good.
I like it.
Applause.
So yeah,
we are still talking about it.
Either way, I guess we'll see you guys next week. We are excited. We are actually, this is a good era.
Please let us know your thoughts.
I'm glad that we have been able to do this podcast and not hit a show that we don't like, because I don't want to know what the show will become when we have one show we really like and then one show we fucking despise. Like, I don't want to know.
Because, like, that's never, like, the vibes you really want to go for.
Well, it's like, if it's what's happening, it's what's happening. You know what I mean? This is kind of the part where it's like, you're getting my thoughts of what's currently going on. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I feel like, yeah, and then you just kind of see it get lopsided. I feel like with this, it's going to stay pretty even between Geats and King-Ohger, honestly, depending on how King-Ohger is going to keep its own pacing.
I mean, to be fair, whenever the next Ultra comes out, we'll have to see how
Oh, Gazer. I'm excited.
Oh, so is that what it's called?
That's his name.
Nice.
Gazer's going to be a thing.
So
we don't know what he's looking.
Decker and Gazer.
That's
off of Gaia?
I don't know, actually, this year. I think they might have dropped that.
There was like basically a holy trinity of...
There is the TDG. It's the Tiga Dina Gaia.
Yeah, Gaia. Gazer.
Which I guess.
That's also the name of, like...
Gazer's Lord Reginald.
Yeah, Lord Reginald, right?
My God. I don't know if it's Gazer or Blazer. We'll find out.
Oh. Two very different vibes.
I'm sorry. Sometimes when they get translated, they often get weird letterings. Can I tell you about Tajadol? They seriously, on some metals and on some packagings, it literally says Condor instead of Condor. It says Condor.
Bumblebee bebe.
Bumblebee.
I guess there's an offhand question. Because I know that, like, on, like, the actual TokuBrew, not This Week in Toku, because, like, that's basically just outrun the original podcast by a mile at this point.
This is the main podcast.
But, like, just TokuBrew, where we just talk about, like, a couple handfuls of subjects that don't necessarily have to be, like, weekly shows or anything. Like, we can talk about pretty much anything. Would you, like, because, like, you're watching Lord of the Rings for the first time, because we're watching King-Ohger and stuff, would you be interested in hearing our thoughts on Lord of the Rings? And also maybe The Hobbit, but...
The Horbit.
The Horbit. I don't know. I just thought that would be an interesting question to ask.
I feel like let's get back to Black Sun before we...
That's fair.
I want to finish Black Sun so bad.
I love that show, but man, does it take a toll on you.
Well,
it's like, it hurts to watch.
To be fair, we have been busy to watch it because we want to watch it and then try to record not too long after. We don't want to watch it and then wait like a month to record it.
I mean,
Like, we're not gonna take...
We haven't even, like, recorded ghost stories like how we wanted to.
Oh, fuck. Well, that cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
We never told
sorry
people what
about
that was. Redact that, me. Actually, I'm not going to. Fuck it. Whatever.
I'm sorry.
That one might just have to be dropped. Like, I don't know.
I want to do it at least
I want to talk about it.
We started, but we never finished it. It just... A little behind the scenes. It's just really hard because, you know, we have jobs and
well, yeah,
you know,
it's like it's hard to work.
Responsibilities, and we have people we like to try and see at least eventually. So we have to like squeeze the podcast in, like in just like.
Look, I'm not getting paid for this at all.
It's very much a passion project.
But yeah, no, it's like I'm glad that everyone's enjoying what they can. And again, it's like just tell us what topics you want to see. Honestly, just tell us down in the comments. Like, do you want to see us talk about Lord of the Rings? Do you want to see us talk about Ghostbusters? I'm realizing we talked about Ghostbusters like 2 years ago.
Oh, we never talked about Afterlife, did we?
No, we never did. We can talk.
It's really good.
Yeah, I'm about to say I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. There you go.
Like, yeah, that's all.
That's it.
Because honestly, I haven't watched it to the point where I barely remember it. Also,
maybe we'll watch it for Halloween or something.
Huh? No, we'll have to see.
No, it sounded like you were like, "Ha, no." I don't know.
But yeah, no, it's a solid week.
Lots of
I'm
stuff
excited.
To look forward to.
Oh wait, I'm realizing I never asked you the question, but I'll ask it next week. I was gonna ask you what your favorite King-Ohger suit was. Do you have
red,
it?
Honestly,
Red.
Like, it just looks so sleek and so
Kuwagata.
sexy. It looks sexy.
I like Hachi, the bee.
Oh yeah.
I like the bee. I like how his mouth plates the bee butt.
It looks. I feel like it almost looks better like when it's like a profile when he like looks to the.
Well,
side.
yeah, he doesn't quite have the Aguilera thing where the thing is going to stab you in the eye, but like
it looks more like there's like a bee on his face.
Exactly. But yeah, no.
Thanks for listening.
Again, you know, it's probably gonna be out before this ever comes out. So I hope you guys like the King-Ohger review, and if it's not out yet, it'll be out at some point. I know I'm gonna own it. It's like, it's literally gonna be here tomorrow. like that's when it's coming. So if I don't do a video on it, that means I died, and you're not listening to this.
I'm crying in the other room or something.
And or we both got in a horrible accident. But that's not what we need to talk about. But thank you guys so much for listening and listening to us ramble and also talk about King-Ohger. What did you guys think about King-Ohger? Who's your favorite character so far? Who's your favorite god? Because all the robots are called gods. Like, I like that, like, it's been so...
Adam, we need to stop talking.
Oh, God.
It's too long.
There's so much to talk about, though.
I know. We need to stop.
Okay, you guys can go home.
Listening.
Thank you so much for listening.
Well,
Until next
still
week.
Listening. Go home. The movie's over.
You're still here. Go home. Okay. Until next week, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.